Do you know your true worth? Are you aware of the immense value you hold within yourself? These aren't merely rhetorical questions meant to provoke passing thought. They are deliberate prompts designed to instigate your inner introspection, to stir the dormant self-knowledge that lies within you. They are nudges nudging you to not just contemplate, but to truly fathom the sheer magnitude of your existence and the significance of your being. Conceptualizing the magnitude of our existence is no small task. In the grand scheme of this unending, ever-expanding universe, we may seem like tiny, inconsequential specks. But isn't it remarkable that each of us, despite our seemingly insignificant size in comparison to the cosmos, holds a universe within ourselves? A universe filled with a lifetime of experiences, talents hidden and revealed, dreams cherished and pursued. Each of us is a unique blend, a one-of-a-kind concoction of these elements. This unique combination is so distinctive, so exclusively ours, that it can never be accurately replicated. That, dear friends, is your worth, an inimitable, irreplaceable distinctiveness. Your self-worth is this singular, invaluable entity that encapsulates who you are and what you can achieve. It's a common human tendency to question our self-worth, isn't it? We look around, see people reaching dizzying heights of success, achieving feats we've only ever dreamt of, and it leaves us in a state of self-doubt. We find ourselves asking the ominous question, are we good enough? In these moments, it's important to remember an essential truth. Comparison is not just the thief of joy, but more than that, it's a thief of self-worth. We begin to undervalue ourselves not because we're inherently less, but simply because we're gazing in the wrong direction. Societal pressures and external factors often trick us into believing that our worth is tied to our achievements, our wealth, or our social status. We are led to believe that our worth fluctuates with our successes and failures. However, I urge you to pause and reflect. Is this the truth? Consider a diamond in the rough. Does it lose its inherent value because it's currently covered in dirt? Absolutely not. It merely needs to be unearthed, cleaned, and polished to reveal its true brilliance. Much like this diamond, our worth is not diminished by our circumstances, our failures, or the hasty judgments of others. It's inherent and unchanging, regardless of external factors. Self-worth is not just any random component of our lives. It's the cornerstone of our existence. It influences our decisions and our actions. It shapes our relationships. It determines the opportunities we seize or let pass by. And most importantly, it governs how we treat ourselves. When we truly understand and internalize our worth, we begin to treat ourselves with the respect and kindness that we rightly deserve. We stop settling for less and start aspiring for more. We stop questioning our value and start appreciating our uniqueness. Your worth is not determined by others, but how you perceive yourself. Always remember, you are more than enough. Now, let me tell you a story about a man named Nicholas, a man who discovered his true worth after a long struggle. Nicholas was a man who found himself always in the shadows, always the second choice. At his job, his diligent work was often overlooked, while others who were more assertive, more vocal, got the recognition. In his personal relationships, he was always the one making the sacrifices, always the one adjusting his needs to fit others. He felt like he was never enough, never up to every day. He woke up with the feeling of being undervalued, underappreciated. He'd look in the mirror and see a man who wasn't living up to his potential, a man who was letting life pass him. He was stuck in a cycle of self-doubt and depreciation, feeling like he was constantly falling short of the mark. But then, one day, something changed. One day he realized that he had been looking at his life through the wrong lens. He realized that his worth was not determined by how others saw him, but how he saw himself. He understood that he was not defined by the recognition he received at work, or the sacrifices he made in his relationships. He was more than his job, more than his relationships, more than the sum of his parts. This realization was like a beacon in the dark, guided him towards a new path, a path of self-recognition and self-worth. He started to appreciate his hard work, his sacrifices, his resilience. He started to see his potential, his value, his worth. He began to understand that he was enough just as he was. He needed to change for others. He didn't need to strive for an unattainable ideal. He enough, just as he was. Nicholas discovered his worth and transformed his life. He realized he was more than enough. and so are you. Nicholas's journey was not easy, but it was worth it, and so can be yours. Just like a seed that needs time, patience, and nurturing to grow into a mighty tree, the journey to self-worth is a personal one, and it takes time. It's not a race, not a competition, but a journey of self-discovery, self-love, and self-respect. It's about understanding that you, in your entirety, are enough, just as you are. Picture yourself as the seed planted in the soil of life. You have within you all you need to grow and flourish. You don't need to be anything other than what you are to be worthy. Your worth does not depend on external validation, on how others perceive you, or how they choose to treat you. Your worth is inherent. It's within you. Now imagine your self-respect as the strong roots of this tree. These roots hold you firm, they ground you. They stop you from being swept away by the winds of others' opinions. They keep you steady when the storms of life roll in. Your self-love, that's the trunk of your tree. It's the core of who you are. It's what supports you, what allows you to stand tall and proud no matter what. It's what gives you the strength to weather the seasons of life, to endure the harshest winters, and to bloom in the most beautiful springs. And setting boundaries? That's the protective bark of your tree. It's what shields you from the outside world. It's what keeps you safe and secure. It's what stops others from chipping away at your worth. The journey to self-worth is not easy. It takes time, patience, and a whole lot of love. It's about learning to value yourself, to respect yourself, and to understand that you are enough just as you are. But remember, just like the seed that grows into a mighty tree, the journey to self-worth is a journey worth undertaking. It leads to a life filled with self-respect, happiness, and fulfillment. So, what can we learn from Nicholas's story? What are the key takeaways? From Nicholas's journey, we can extract an array of lessons, each one as profound as the last. It's a testament to the power of self-worth, a value that can transform our lives in ways unimaginable. Let's start from the top. Self-worth, it's not just a concept, it's a cornerstone of our existence. It's the idea that we are important, that we matter, not just to others, but to ourselves. It's a silent proclamation that says, I am enough. Nothing more, nothing less. In our story, Nicholas was a man who didn't understand his worth initially. He allowed others to dictate his value, to tell him what he was worth. But the moment he realized his worth, he became unstoppable. He took control of his life, his choices, and his destiny. The journey to realizing self-worth is not a stroll in the park. It's a climb up a mountain, a voyage across the ocean. It's full of trials and tribulations, doubts and fears, but the destination makes the journey worthwhile. The moment you look at yourself in the mirror and say, I am enough, is the moment everything changes. The transformation self-worth brings is remarkable. It's like a switch has been flipped, illuminating parts of you that you never knew existed. It brings confidence, strength, and a sense of purpose. It's the fuel that drives you to achieve your dreams, to stand up for yourself, to never settle for less. So where do we go from here? How do we start this journey? It begins with a decision to believe in ourselves, to acknowledge our worth. It's a commitment to ourselves, a promise that we will not let anyone or anything diminish our worth. Remember, you are valuable, you are worthy, and you are more than enough. Don't let anyone make you feel otherwise. Know your worth.